important subject here, which is a process that you've mentioned, right? Which bring consistency in delivering what they have been doing it, right? And I think that gives more data point to them, which can then help them in terms of taking appropriate actions. But while doing it, right, and while you speak to many leaders, what do you think? What are the common, I won't say a mistake, but it's more of like the area that they missed, right, while scaling the business.
Yeah, again, I always say no two businesses are the same, but there are some common things that I see, especially when somebody's scaling a business. First of all, a very common one, leaders are trying to do too much themselves. So you've got, somebody who just absolutely believes in that business, are desperate for it to succeed. So they're
Yeah.
throwing their efforts at every single possible area. So they're trying to be the best possible, you know, customer contact. They're trying to be the best possible salesperson. They're out on the road trying to do, conferences, etc. So it's about making sure you're using their time effectively. I'd say another big one is hiring for skills rather than cultural fit. I've seen many businesses, especially when they've got good funding at the start, where they're going out and they're just trying to hire the skills that they want. And essentially, they then have this hodgepodge of personalities that actually don't work very well together. I'd also then say processes. Success can be the biggest limiting factor that you've got if your processes are not right, because essentially you can put too much pressure on different elements if your business is not actually built to scale. So you have to almost plan to build your processes for being much bigger than you are, so that as you do take off, you can take maximum benefit from that. A great example of this was actually my very first client. So they were an email marketing agency. They're actually a
Mhm.
remote business. So they've got people all over Europe. And these guys have been hired for those real skills. They've all worked client side. Now, the challenge they had is essentially these guys all had their own processes and their own ways of working. So when a new client was brought on, you would be very much, the experience was based on the individual that you got. So essentially, I worked with these guys to build a set of scalable processes. So when they brought a client on, it was done in a very consistent manner. So we did things like a client onboarding process, account planning and account mapping that was consistent across the whole business. And that allowed the leadership team to do things at scale.